Miss McCann worked a sewing machine, making habits for the dead. Sometimes girls from our quarter got her to make dresses and costumes, but mostly she stuck to the habits. They were a steady line, she said, and you didn't have to be always buying patterns, for the fashions didn't change, not even from summer to winter. They were like a long brown shirt and a hood attached that was closed over the person's face before the coffin lid was screwed down. A sort of little banner hung out of one arm, made of the same material, and 4 silk rosettes in each corner, and in the middle the letters IHS, which mean Miss McCann said, "I have suffered." My grandmother and Miss McCann liked me more than any other kid they knew. I like being liked and could only admire their taste. My Aunt Jack, who was my father's aunt as well as mine, sometimes came down from where she lived, up near the basin, where the water came from before they started getting it from Wicklow. My Aunt Jack said it was much better water at that. Miss McCann said she ought to be a good judge, for Aunt Jack was funny. She didn't drink porter or malt or take snuff, and my father said she never thought much about men either. She was also very strict about washing yourself very often. My grandmother took a bath every year, whether she was dirty or not, but she was in no way bigoted in the washing line in between times. Aunt Jack made terrible raids on us now and again to stop snuff and drink and make my grandmother get up in the morning and wash herself and cook meals and take food with them. My grandmother was a gilder by trade and served her time in one of the best shops in the city and was getting a man's wages at 16. She liked stuff out of the pork butchers and out of cans, but didn't like boiling potatoes, for she said she was no skivvy, and the chip man was better at it. When she was left alone, it was a pleasure to eat with her. She always had cans of lovely things, and spicy meat and brawn, and plenty of seasoning, fresh out of the German man's shop up the road. But after a visit from Aunt Jack, she would have to get up and wash for a week, and she would have to go and make stews and boil cabbage and pig's cheeks. Aunt Jack was very much up for sheep's heads too. They were so cheap and nourishing. Tried it, she had. But my grandmother only once, being a first-class gilder in Eustace Street, but never had anything to do with sheep's heads before. When she took it out of the pot and laid it on the plate, she and I sat looking at it in fear and trembling. It was bad enough going into the pot, but with the soup streaming from its eyes and its big teeth clenched in a very bad temper, it would put the heart crossways in you. My grandmother asked me in a whisper if I ever thought sheep could look so vindictive, but that it was more like the head of an old man, and would I for God's sake take it up and throw it out of the window? The sheep kept glaring at us, but I came the far side of it and rushed over to the window and threw it out in a flash. My grandmother had to drink a baby power whiskey, for she wasn't the better of herself. Afterwards she kept what she called her stock pot on the gas. A heap of bones and, as she said herself, any old muck that would come in handy to have boiling there night and day on a glimmer.